All right, folks. This is my. I think the next wave for mankind is spiritual. I was just thinking to myself, there's so many meaningless, shallow jobs and just ridiculous, shallow conversations in the world. It's just too unbearable. It's just too unbearable being shallow. It's too unbearable not being epic. It's too unbearable not talking about God on our lips. It's too unbearable talking about cheesy things. It's just completely sub-level satisfaction. And I'm not here for sub-level satisfaction. I'm here for the epic. I'm here for the great. I'm here for God. And it's discussion about Him and what He wants and what He's up to and what He likes. And I think people are getting fed up with it. I think people are waking up by the dozen in developed nations and saying, you know what, we've tried it all, we've seen it all, we've YouTubed it all, we've tasted it all, traveled it all, touched it all, and we're missing purpose. Our lives are missing eternal purpose and spiritual fulfillment. And I honestly believe that the next wave in humanity, as far as a movement is concerned, is going to be spiritual healing. That is to say, people coming to God and Jesus Christ and getting the purpose for our existence straight. Okay? And a truth awakening. That we would be fed up with just sub-level pleasures, I call them. Just, it's a secondary pleasure. You graduate, I say. It's like, okay, that was fine for you to experience, and God in His sovereignty allowed you, by the way, Sprite equals truth. Beautiful 3 Fest, inside out. God in His sovereignty allowed you to experience those things and do them and try them out, but you graduate. You graduate from lower experiences. You graduate from lower levels of pleasure. You graduate from temporal living to eternal living. And God-centric living, and purposeful living, and love-centric, heaven-bound living. You simply graduate. When you're young and maybe you're not that grown up in God, maybe you haven't fed on the truth that much, maybe you just didn't know that much. All right. You graduate to higher levels of pleasure. Okay? The pleasure of life with God. God knows your own dissatisfaction, and you just can confess that God, but thank God always. But I honestly do believe that the next wave is spiritual for mankind. I absolutely believe it. We've plateaued in so many other regions that people have been turning to for just time-wise, technology, inventions, gadgets, computers, travel, the sights and sounds of the world, knowledge, all these time, things, and people have fed, and just, stuffed themselves full of videos and, all this stuff, and if they don't have God, then that's the big plug that they wake up and say, okay, I've basically seen it all. I've bought it all. I've traveled it all, or I've thought about it all, and I still don't have it. Anyways, but quite frankly, folks, I just can't stand, for myself personally, I'm done with shallow relationships. Like, I just can't stand shallow conversation. It's just so unsatisfying. Like, I don't know how some people can work jobs where they just kind of do the meet and greet, with strangers all day long. Like, hey, how's it going? Can I take your order? And like, hey, how's your day going? Just those quick transient, meet and greet. I'm just like, this is not life, folks. This is not deep. This is not satisfying. If you can't go deep with God, if you're not anyways, sometimes I think the working world is so terrible. It's just so brutally cheesy. I'm like, let's talk about God, please. Let's talk about the supernatural. I'm just like, I'm really not that interested, in our dumb little product idea. I'm really not. I'm sorry. I really am not. I'm just like, Alrighty. So, where will we find satisfaction in the world? I'm going to spend some time in prayer tonight. God is my satisfier. Thank God.